Syngenta has always been, soil health has always been in some way part of Syngenta's approach, but it does seem like a very deliberate act now to build this team that you're building for soil health. So maybe help us understand kind of the why now behind Syngenta's interest in soil health.
Soils are the foundation of food production, and we're really critical to feeding the world. Full stop. But soil science had always kind of played a secondary role in agricultural technology, especially over the modern era, where we focused on the improvements we can make through crop genetics and through crop protection and fertilizer. In recent years, though, soil science has undergone a revolution. Our understanding of soils is orders of magnitude better than it was just decades ago. And that's been enabled by new technologies like DNA sequencing that allowed us to understand the microbiome in soils. So partly it's driven by really rapid advances in soil science that have given us a much better understanding of how soils work. And then we're really just at the cusp of tapping into that understanding to develop new solutions. From my perspective, soils are the next frontier for agricultural innovation. If we think about it, we've made these tremendous strides in agricultural productivity and sustainability because of crop breeding, because of crop protection, because of fertilizer, but we haven't even scratched the surface of what we can do to increase productivity and sustainability and profitability by helping farmers to manage their soils in a way that improves them over time.
And so what exactly is the charge of your team then? And maybe you could talk a little bit about the type of team that you're assembling within Syngenta.
Soil health is a top strategic priority for Syngenta. It shows up in our new sustainability priorities that were recently announced. One of them is regenerate soil and nature. One of the things that I'm trying to do is build soil science as a core competency within Syngenta, really to the same level as chemistry or crop genetics. And that's kind of scary to me because those core competencies were built up over decades, if not centuries. I mean, it's really an incredible legacy and, intimidating to think about. But that's the level of ambition that we have. We want to bring soil science integrated into the company, touching all parts of the company so that we can really harness the power of soils to increase productivity. So my team, I brought in really, the dream team. I brought in the dream team, Tim. And I think some of them. Abby Wick, who co-hosts one of your other podcasts, and I think you've interviewed Jordan Wade. Yep. So I was really fortunate that I was able to attract these really talented and exceptional soil scientists that are focused on growers and understand the challenges that growers face and have that desire to work together as a true team to help develop solutions, develop insights, and really translate soil science into solutions, but also engage with growers. We learn as much from farmers as they could ever learn from us.
And how does that look from an internal perspective with Syngenta, as much as you can share, I guess, of like, all right, we are investing in this dream team of soil scientists, and we want to make soil science part of our DNA just as much as these other sciences that we've been focused on for years. How do you track to see if that's working and if you're getting a return on that investment?
One of the big challenges is that soil science really sits at the nexus of everything that we do as a company. It touches crop genetics. It impacts how those genetics are expressed and how that translates into crop performance. It impacts how crop protection works, right? And how it degrades in soils when it reaches the soil. It impacts everything we do, and certainly digital as well, right? Digital ag, a lot of the potential of digital ag is in harnessing soil intelligence, soil information. So the cool thing about my job, but also the big challenge, is having to work with all those different business units, all those different components of our R&D enterprise, and bring them together, really changing the mindset and thinking about soils as the nexus between all of those other components of agricultural technology. So my group kind of sits within our Syngenta group, kind of the umbrella organization, so that I can collaborate and build connections between all those different units. But I'm also deeply embedded within the research and development enterprise of the company, particularly within crop protection.
And could you share maybe some examples, even if theoretical examples, of outcomes that might be possible if this initiative is successful, when we really start integrating soil with digital, with chemistry, with the foundations of soil science? What impact might be possible?
I think soils are going to be the biggest unlock for improvements in yield and in profitability and efficiency. We're already seeing some products come to market, particularly through our biologicals unit, that can directly enhance soil functioning and deliver benefits that are additive to what we can already do. That's just the tip of the iceberg. I think the real potential is when we can start thinking about soils as the nexus within the agricultural system and harnessing the information that we can gain by mapping soils and understanding the variability across a field, never mind across the world, to help farmers, do better product placement and not just the traditional decisions that are driven by soil information, i.e. fertility, right? But we can go beyond fertility and start informing seeding rates. We can inform the timing of applications. We can inform the rates of things like herbicides, fungicides, so that every dollar spent on the farm goes that much further and that we don't waste anything, that we only put the right product at the right time and the right amount where it's needed. Because soils are a big driver, and right now we don't incorporate any information about soils into most of the decisions that a farmer makes across the season.
Someone who is more cynical than I might say, this is just Syngenta trying to position themselves as sustainable, right? It's kind of a marketing PR thing where, see, we're sustainable, we care about soil health, we have this team. Obviously, you don't feel that way. You're a scientist. You want to see, real impact being made. But I'm curious, how do you speak to that level of skepticism?
Yeah, I totally understand that skepticism from people that don't understand the agricultural industry and particularly innovation. I'm really an environmentalist. I care about the environment. I want to help solve climate change. And I believe that the way that we help solve climate change and reduce the environmental impact of agriculture is by putting the best technologies and the best scientific knowledge into the hands of the growers that are out there every day making decisions about how to manage their fields. So I'm very clear that innovation and technology is critical to enabling sustainable agriculture.